Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight we've got a bit of a fun one. We're doing a Lian Li Mini, but we normally do them in white. This one we're going to be doing in black. So the exact same case if you're familiar with the Lian Li Dynamic 11 Mini, but we're going to be doing it in black. So
I like it. It's nice.
yeah, it looks really nice. A little black box. And so anyway, this is Rory's PC. So he's pretty local, so he's going to be able to pick this one up, so don't have to ship this one off.
Yay.
That's always fun. It's one less for me to pack up, so it's always good.
And saving for the customer.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have to pay for shipping, so sweet as. Alright, well let's go through the components here tonight. So we've got the i7-10700KF for our CPU. So these CPUs with the K in the name don't come with coolers, so you do need to have another cooler for it. And we're going to be putting it with this one up here. This is the Castle 360 Rgb V2 all-in-one liquid cooler. We've built a few of these recently because they are on special at a great price. So that is why, saving dollars. So it's also a really nice looking cooler, basically. Works well, etc., etc. That's why I buy it. It's not a piece of shit. It's not a piece of shit. Sorry, I just sculled my iced coffee before this, so you got to bear with me there. Anyway, we've got 32 gigabytes of 3600 megahertz CL18 memory here to go with it. We've got a Samsung 980 SSD NVMe, so this is just a Gen 3 one here, but that's not going to be a problem. We've got the ASRock Z590 Steel Legend Wi-Fi 6E motherboard. So it's quite a nice looking board, if I do say so. It's got a really nice kind of finish. We'll have a look at that when we unbox it. We have the Asus TUF Gaming RTX 3070 Ti here. So this is one of the new ones with the LHR. I think this is non-L. Oh no, all the TIs for 3070 and 3080, they are all LHR by default. So if you're looking for a graphics card and you are looking for one that's not LHR, you have to look for the ones that aren't TI. Other than 3060, there are non-LHR 3060 Ti's. I'm pretty sure yours would be, that's why.
Oh wait, no, it was.
Yours is 3060, but yeah, let's not get sidetracked here. Alright, so I'm going to put the card down here to the side for now. It's in one of those big chunky boxes. And so we've got 6 Silverstone Airblazer RGB fans to add here, because in addition to the cooler here, we can fit another 6 fans in this case. So we're going to be using them. We have a Cooler Master 850 watt 80 plus gold small form factor power supply here. So this one here comes with the 10-year warranty, so this is a high quality unit. When you're looking at small form factor power supplies at like 850 watts, they're pretty much all really good units. You have to really sort of look around to find one that's bad. This one has a longer warranty than some. A lot of them have 7-year warranties. This one has the full 10 years. So that is a good thing to see. And as I said, we've got the Dynamic 11 Mini in black and the cooler up the top there. So let's get started. Let's have a look at this motherboard. I'm going to come around the front so I can show it to you. Steel Legend. So our motherboard comes in its own special little box inside a box. And look at all this treasure in the bottom of the box here. So we get some of these cable ties. I don't usually use them. We have some instruction manuals. We have a Steel Legend keyring. Camera wants to focus on that. Yeah, there you go. You get a graphics card support bracket. We probably won't be utilising that one either. We get some Wi-Fi antennas. We get some SATA cables. And we get some screws and offsets in these bags. So let me take all these out on the desk there. And we get some Steel Legend Go Faster stickers. Alrighty, so yeah.
This is heating plus.
Oh.
Because they make nice cars.
Where are my pliers? You see my pliers? You meant to see these things, babe. Here they are.
On the floor, because that's where they're meant.
Yeah, I know. That's why I knew exactly where to look. Alright, so we've got to cut our motherboard out of its foamy restraints. Yeah. Yeah, oh man, this will look sweet. The only thing it's missing is probably some RGB strips, just because it's a black build. Might be a little bit dark in there. So, a very nice looking motherboard here from ASRock, as you can see from the distance. But let's have a look at what we get closer up. So, starting at the top here, we get twin 8-pin CPU power connections. We get some really nice direct touch heat sinks on our MOSFET, VRM and co-processors. Obviously our Intel LGA 1200 socket there. Got dual channel memory here, 4 slots, 2 channels. Got our CPU fan header up here. And we've got these two here, so a 12 volt, the white one, and a 5 volt Rgb header, the grey one. And around here we have our 24 pin ATX power for the motherboard. This is like the main power for everything else. We have a USB-C front panel connection. We have our USB 3 front panel connection. We've got 4 horizontally orientated SATA ports around there. Another fan header down there. Then along the bottom here, let me get a look around here so I can actually see everything that's down there. So starting over here, we've got another fan header, so that's fan header number 3. We've got 2 vertically orientated SATA ports there. We've got trusted platform module, this header here. Then we've got our diagnostic speaker header. Then this one below is our front panels. We've got 2 more fan headers, 2 USB 2.0s. We've got a clear CMOS header, these 2 little pins on their own. We've got another USB 3 down the bottom there. Then we have another 12 volt, another 5 volt RGB header. Then these 3 pins here that are a different shape to the 5-volt 3 pins, this is the Sony Philips digital interface header. So if you've got a graphics card that needs to plug in like that, you can still run it. And over here is our front panel audio connections for our speaker and microphone jack on the case. And these little gold capacitors here, these are the audio capacitors. And all of this stuff around here is the audio on the board. We have another sneaky fan header around there as well. So what's that, a total of, that's 6. Then around the back here, obviously, our audio as close as possible to the other audio stuff on the board. We have 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, I think, on this board. It doesn't say on the back panel, but I believe it is. We have USB, it's like 4 USB 3.2s, including 1 Type-C there. We have our Wi-Fi antennas there. We have a HDMI and DisplayPort that won't be in use for this build. We have 2 USB 2s there and a PS2 port. And so these basically, these antennas just come through these cables that you can see running down here to this little CNVI Wi-Fi module that is pre-installed on the board. So that's all it is. That's got Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1 on that little chip. It's the same chip that's on any other motherboard that has onboard Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's just usually covered up by this shroud. You don't see it. It's just a little card that sits in the end there. But it's on display there. Well, it won't really be because we'll put a graphics card in here and we'll cover up all that stuff down there anyway. So all that's left to talk about now is just this stuff in the middle. We spoke about the Wi-Fi card. Then we've got triple M2 slots here. We've got another sneaky fan header around here as well. Something to watch out for. We've got our PCIe X16 slot here. And then, as you can see, if you look inside the slot there on that bottom one, we can see that it's only connected like a quarter of the way across. That means it's an X4 slot. If it was connected halfway, we would say it's an X8 slot. And these little ones here, 1, 2 and 3, are X1 slots. And so one thing with ASRock boards that I'll point out to anyone who's watching this who's interested in doing Bitcoin mining, take note of the shape of these X1 slots. They have an open end, so if you do want to, it means you can put like full-length graphics cards in there, and you don't have to worry about riser cables and all that thing for your mining rig. So if you get an ASRock board that's got 6 slots, including maybe 3 or 4 X1 slots with the open end, that would be perfect for you. It would save you a bit of money on your mining rig build. So just a little bit of a heads up there with ASRock motherboards with that. And then obviously under here is where our B550 is. Bit of sticky over the top there, we'll get rid of that. And that pretty much sums up all of the main features here of this board. Let me try to actually get it in front of the camera properly and not just like hold it in front of the camera on weird angles. I'll get better at this.
He's learning.
This is something new, showing the board like this. I think this is better. And get a good idea of what I'm fucking talking about when I go through all this shit. Alright. Yeah. Hey Mario, how you going? Your computer's all packed up and ready to go, man. Mick says, that's a nice looking board. Yeah, it is. It really, really is, mate. Yeah, ASRock have some really nice motherboards. They've got some cheap ones as well, but they've got some really nice ones. So check out their mid to higher end boards. Alright, so first thing I've got in my hands here is the SSD. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. So I'm going to put this, because it's going to be our boot drive, I'm going to put this in this slot down here, because it's going to be covered up by our graphics card, and then we can add other cards on these other 2 slots that'll be accessible. So that'll be much better than trying to stuff around. Pulling your graphics card out just to put a new M2 drive in. We can screw that down there. There we go. 1 terabyte all sorted. Now we got our SSDs. There's some scissors around there. There's some on the floor. Jeez. Yeah. It is the i7 10700KF in this one. So 10700KF is like an i9 9900K or 9900KF. Basically the same performance. It's got the same number of cores and threads and all that kind of stuff. And they basically perform identical. So, to give you an idea, that's why I always tell people the numbers that they give these CPUs. There's like a number that makes sense and tells you something valid, and then there's the bullshit marketing number. So when people say something's a Ryzen 7 or an i7, that's the bullshit marketing number. And then there's the actual model number of the CPU that tells you all the information that you need to know. But people get real confused by those marketing terms. You know, sometimes I get a person who's like, they think that because there's a second-hand computer with an i7, that's a better deal than my brand new suggested build with an i3. Even though the i7 that they're looking at is like a 4th gen thing and it's got DDR3 memory and all that, they just hung up on that number. It's an i7 though, mate. i7. You know, like that means something. It doesn't mean anything. Hey Tapiri, how you going? Good to have you with us. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with a 10700KF. It's still a great gaming CPU. Just because Ryzen 5000 came out doesn't mean that the existing CPUs became like worse. They're exactly the same as they've always been. So if it was good a year ago, it's likely still a pretty good option. You know, things don't usually age that quickly. They used to, but not so much anymore. He's got a 4790, yeah, yep. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the sort of system that someone like there are people on like eBay and stuff that sell like old systems, and they sell them as like gaming PCs, but they've got like GT 710s in them, which you can't game on. Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, some people fall victim to that. But yeah, 49's, what did you do? 4790. That's a 4th gen Intel chip, so they're currently got we're currently selling brand new 9th, 10th and 11th gen Intel, with 9th gen sort of wrapping up, and they're just about to release the 12th gen in October. So you can see it's 4th gen. It's very sort of outdated. Like if you had an i7 6700K, that'd be really good. That's well, not really good, but that holds up with like a 10th gen i3. Fortnite. Yeah, and I mean it'll play Fortnite for you. But yeah, like this one here, it's not even, it shares the name i3, but it's a totally different CPU. Alright, so we got that board prepped. So I might get this cooler sorted. Do you want to help with the dreaded fans? Alright, let's disassemble the case because it requires a fair bit of assembly. Oh no, don't worry about the top one, that's where the radiator's going. Alrighty. Yeah, so we need some fans face down in the case. So we'll have the fans in the bottom drawing in cool air from the bottom, and the radiator will be exhausting the heat from the radiator directly out the top of the case. And there'll also be 3 other fans also helping with case exhaust as well. Because when you try to exhaust out through a radiator, you limit the airflow of the fans to some point because you're obstructing part of it with the radiator. So in terms of having balanced airflow, which is something I talk about a little bit here, sometimes you need to, if you're running say 3 fans drawing cool air in, and then you've got a 360mm radiator exhausting out, you might want to add another fan or so, just to make up for the fact that the radiator is constricting some of the flow of those other 3 fans.
Can I just screwdriver?
Sure. Okay. Yes. Alright, here's our backplate that we need. We don't need these AM4 bolts, but I'll keep them anyway. So. Hey Trent, how you going? How's Rocky? How's Laura going at the new store? Huh?
I use a lot of cardboard.
Only more cardboard. Okay. So I'm going to quickly prep this backplate here for LGA 1200, which is the inner slots. Oh, might want to do it the right way up. It's generally better if you do it the right way up. Yeah.
Makes us good for the short time I was there.
You back in Brizzy, mate?
Oh, they were, but
Oh.
I'm assuming they're back home now. Oh, down in Brizzy for my spinal stimulator implant trial
Oh.
on day 4.
How's that going?
Through the feet. How are you meant to?
Long screwdriver. It's German designed. This is German engineering. I always see someone in like an older Mercedes or BMW or something like that, and I'm always just like, how's that German engineering working out for you? Me with my made in Thailand car are laughing with it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You want me to hold it?
Why do you always get me to do the hardest frickin' jobs?
It's not the hardest job. Do you want to put the cooler together instead?
Trying to get this bolt in through the leg. Like, who in their right mind thought that that was a good idea?
The Germans designed it, and then Lian Li went, no, you need to be able to mount the fans. Come on, you know that happened. You know that happened. Okay. So when you got a cooler like this that has pre-applied thermal paste, you got to be careful not to get it everywhere while you're moving it around. Pro tip. I want to orientate this. Really? Okay. It's just a tight fit.
Am I putting them in the right way?
Yes.
How far do you want them to go?
Just put them in a straight line. Yeah.
Okay. Now, am I not feeding you?
No, he says, you're fucking around with those things. Yep.
Transfer's working really, but finding it hard to walk properly. Been unbalanced for 6 years.
Yeah,
Really
nice.
sorry. It says store rocking, almost ready to open. It's training week for a new staff.
Sweet.
Cool.
Roughly like this in our case. So I'm going to make sure I get the right side.
This one's stiff. And that one's not. That one was easier than the other. It's because I couldn't see it properly. Rory. There we go. Tim,
Yeah.
I spaced them apart just a tiny little bit to fill up the space a little bit more. See?
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
So many fans. Tim, chances I go back Wednesday, but find out Monday when full implant operation will be. I'll try for ASAPs and I'll be back soon to Brisbane again.
Oh, yep.
Sounds full on, dude. But I hope it works.
Yeah.
Did I help?
Yeah.
Yay! My grip on the screwdriver is getting better. Well, I've never had to do such fine movement.
Yeah, I know.
Like, weird movement using the screwdriver.
Yeah. Very good. You have reduced my fan screwing workload by what? 66%. I'm going to call that a win.
Trent says gaming will be hard for almost 3 months. No, they reckon, after the operation. Oh. Maybe watching people game will fill that need for gaming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Twitch awaits. And am I out of fan bolts in my tray? Possibly. Okay. So now we need to make sure all these cables are routed to the back. So that's the one thing about building in this case is like there's plenty of room out the back for cable management and stuff. That's not a problem. The problem lies with just running all the cables back. You don't want to put your power supply in too early, or you won't have any room. It's a little bit weird. The power supply actual box will probably be like the last thing that I actually install. I'll probably sooner get the cables and route them and then plug everything into the power supply once all the other cables are in place. Yeah.
John says try not to watch much content now to fill that void. You don't have much issue with the 24-hour strike total.
Yeah, well, not that I can see. Everything seems like it's everything seems like it's all good, but it's not till tomorrow. The strike's happening tomorrow, so okay. So we've got everything all good out there. I've just got these fans out the front to route at the back. I think we're going to need that extended panel for this motherboard. Where did I put that? ASRock have that sneaky extra offset. Put that in. What length is it? Oh, yeah. There we go. Alright, so we've got all of our fans run out the back of our case. We've got our extra extended back plate there in place. And we've got that extra offset in place. So now we're going to get the motherboard in the case. Just going to lie this down. But let me see. No, I should still have enough room to do this. Stay there. Alright, let me just get one screw in place. Sweet. Oh. Okay. So we'll just leave that there for now. Where did I put the power supply? Here. So this is our small form factor power supply. Good. It's so tiny. 850 watts. In such a small little package.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Okay, what cables do I want? So I want to get stuff sorted on the top of this motherboard. So I'm actually going to connect these CPU cables before I even do the power supply. I'm not going to connect them to the power supply first. There's no rules on the right way to do it, so this will make my life easier because it's a very tight space to deal with. See, it's even hard just plugging it in now. Seriously. Just these things in general. There we go. The next one's going to be relatively easy. Yep, that's the right end. Make sure we plug the right end into the motherboard, the right end into the power supply. See, this one's a solid piece, not two 4-pins. So that one can just go straight in. Look at that. Got these two cables out here. So, as for the rest of this stuff, okay, so we're going to need power for our graphics card. Oh. So we've got our graphics card power. We'll need this one. This is for our motherboard. So you got the 20 and the 10 that go into the power supply. And then the 20 plus 4 into the motherboard. It's not even 20 plus 4, it's just a 24. It's not even the detachable piece. And we got some SATA and Molex cables. So we'll put in, I reckon, just one SATA. And these other ones, we can stash them away in the 3.5 drive bay. Yeah, perfect. So they're all stashed away. So, what else we got to deal with? We've got an Rgb header up the top. That's probably as good a header as any to take advantage of to start our RGB chain. these as well. 5-volt RGB headers. There we go. Alright, so I got that RGB installed there. Got our CPU. So we'll just plug this rear fan straight into that CPU fan header. So we have other ways. We're going to power our pump. Yep. Excellent. So put a couple more screws in up the top here before we start to close things off. That can go in there. There we go. So we've got that top part of the motherboard sort of all sorted there. So now we can turn our attention to some of the stuff down at the bottom. So we'll start with this front panel audio. We've got our front panel connections. I reckon we could slide them down behind the motherboard. Oh. Let's get on the other side of that, those screws. Oh, how are we going to do this? Oh, this will be fun. Oh, I'm not getting all the length in it. Sweet, that became less fun. Excellent. Yeah, so I'm talking in opposites right now. Excellent. There is one other thing I wanted to do. So I'm going to install a couple of fan hubs here. So we're going to put 3 fans in each of them. And, or will I do one for each? Yeah, let's do one for each. We can leave those other fan headers on the motherboard vacant. Alright, one. Come on, play ball for me. Fuck it. It'll be fine fed through from here. Just trying to make it less busy. If it's not going to play ball for me, I'm not going to waste my time. Okay. It's all looking good. So let's get the rest of these screws in. Probably seems like I haven't really done much, but we're actually on the home stretch here. Okay. So we've got all of our screws in there. We're ready to get this radiator mounted. Oh, might want to deal with these fans. So many fan cables to deal with. I mean, we've got 9 fans plus the cooler is 10. Then we've also got the same number of RGB cables. So with these RGB fans having 10 of them, including the pump, yeah, it means we've got 20 cables to deal with. And this is why doing this does people's heads in. That's why this is like why I have a job. Hey babe, can you help with this? Like, I can do it on my own, but it's pretty hard. So I will have to screw this in. No, that's all right. We can do that. We can do that later. It'll stay firm in that position. Okay. So as we can see here, we've got a whole heap of cables to sort out. So I'm going to start with the RGB. So here's this connector that's come off the one that's plugged in. And so now all we have to do is connect up each one in the chain. And I'll just put a little bit of tape around each connection just to make sure it stays connected. And then we've got another one coming off that. Your cables stay just there, out of the way for a bit. That'd be great. Okay. Alright, so I'll tie up these excess RGB cables here. We're still not completely done with our RGB. So they can sort of stay down the bottom here. We've got this other cable here, which we have to connect to this other hub to connect the RGB on the fans on the cooler, that is. Oh. Just replacing this wire tie with a cable tie there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to stick this just up here, out of the way. And there is our RGB all hooked up. Now we've got some fans and stuff up here. There you are. So let's plug these in. And we can also stash it away up there. Excellent. Just leave them a bit loose for now. And we've got our 3 down the bottom here. not even going to stick this down. I'm just going to stash it away under the power supply. I'm going to leave it loose. That's fine. Alright, now we're starting to look pretty respectable. So we're going to power our pump 12 volt direct. So I'm going to plug this in here, and that will plug into one of the SATA cables on our power supply. Now we've just got this USB 3 and C cable. Alright, got those plugged in. So now I think we might finally connect our power supply. So we'll plug in our CPU power, which we've already installed. pretty good. Plugged in our pump. Alright, graphics card time. Hey Mick, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, it's looking really clean. And so we'll need slots 2 and 3 for this. Alrighty. It's a chunky card. Sweet as. Covered in plastic as normal. Right, we can deal with that. Going to pull it off as one piece. I sure can, but there's a separate piece on this. And sticky over the back, because that's really important. I'm going to put some of these plugs in the motherboard, because they won't be in use with this CPU. Excellent. Okay, and we just got to decide which way we'll route our cables. Whatever we end up doing, let's just feed these through there. You have to use these second ones. I'm thinking probably over the top, keep the bottom nice and clean. I don't like these cables.
Yeah.
Alright, what's the pin out on these bastards? That might be a later problem to deal with. Yeah, I think it will be. That will be a later problem to deal with. But the plan is to replace these cables with slightly longer ones, which will enable me to get them into a better position. Or if Rory wants, we can get some cable extenders, like sleeved ones that'll look really nice. Or we could get Rgb ones as well. So there's some options there for that. And so as for everything else, it's not really a big deal. Put all that down. Alrighty. So a little bit shitty with these cables, but we'll move on for now. But comes up alright. Nice and tidy at the back there. Yeah, happy days. Put some Wi-Fi antennas on and I'll get everything else all ready. So if this is all good and we've got no dead parts, Rory will be picking this up tomorrow. Got lucky because of the graphics card stuff up earlier this week. Early signs of life there. Alrighty, ready to give this a go. Hey Adam, how you going, man? Yeah, so you come in at the right time because we're yeah, we've just got this one ready. We'll start setting her up. Can you? Oh, hang on! I don't even have a video cable plugged in. That might actually.
It might be handy.
Yeah. So it failed to post because we didn't have a video cable in.
It's kind of heavy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a beauty, this one. It's a little bit less straightforward to put these ones together, but yeah. As you can see, that wasn't too bad considering the amount that's involved in one of these.
Yeah. Are they not RGB limbs?
No.
They kind of look like they should be.
Yeah, they're not though.
Fair enough.
All right. Oh, got the wrong way up. Is that on at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why won't this? That's really annoying. Do it get slightly bent? I don't think so.
Is that bottom, is the dust catcher getting cold?
No, there it goes.
What's that sticking out back?
Just a bit of paper. Sorry about that. I just really wanted to get that back panel. What's up? Staring at it displeased. What's wrong?
Nothing. What?
Maybe you're just tired.
I'm pretty tired. I've been up since like 5 o'clock this morning.
Alright, here we go. So there's our i7-10700KF with its 8 cores and 16 threads. Start some of those updates. Let's plug in our SSD. Now I still have PTSD from the other night with oh, what am I doing? Still have PTSD from the other night with MSI Afterburner, so I'm going to install that first.
Why don't you just do that from now on?
Oh, I'm thinking I will, because just one bad experience is all it takes. Okay, now I can breathe. It's our graphics card drivers. I want to restart later. Alrighty, unfortunately she's stalled on us, so I'll have to do a hard reset here. I'm not going to wait for it because I'll see this on having some pizza, eh? What?
Where do I begin with the packaging of this? It's just German company made in it's made in China. Plus it's imported to Australia and the Philippines. It's just,
Okay, so we've got Steam, Battle.net. I don't think I'm missing anything. No. That's the one from in there. Updated drivers for graphics card. Sweet. Alright, so that's going to restart a few times now while the ASRock software installs. What's going on?
Should be done by now.
It was just waiting for an internet connection. Alrighty, what's going on? Should be done by now. And what's Mario just asked? Oh shit, that was a little while ago. Ever had problems with a stress test, Tim? Yeah, well, I mean, that's why we do the stress tests. So it's just a way of being extra sure that everything with the particular case that we've gone with, the components that we've gone with, that everything's working fine. Last thing I want to do is ship off a PC to someone that they're going to have problems with down the track. It's alright if they live here in southeast Queensland and they can just drop it back to me if there's a problem. But a little bit hard when you live like Tom Price, WA, in the middle of nowhere. A bit hard to send your computer back. So and yeah, with the stress tests, yeah, normally the only thing that I have a problem with is the Ryzen 3600 with a stock cooler. That doesn't quite pass my stress test. But we don't do too many Ryzen 3600s anymore, so that's a good thing. But yes, I'll just have to ask Rory what he wants to do about the cables for the graphics card, because we got a small form factor power supply there, the cables are kind of short. So I can probably find some appropriate cables that are longer, or we could get like another like a nice looking extension cable for it. But yeah, like in general, if I when I'm running a stress test on it, it's just me being thorough, it's giving all the components a bit of a test run and stuff, making sure that things aren't faulty, making sure everything works, making sure that the customer's not going to have problems with it, like, oh, after I've gamed for like 3 hours it starts slowing down and all that. You don't want that. So we just make sure that won't happen, and then it's good to ship off. Alright, that took ages for some reason. Windows is all up to date. Okay, so a few things didn't install there. Don't worry about Dragon utility. Alright, let's get BIOS updated, get those last couple of drivers installed, and then let's run some benchmarks on it and start our stress test. And so you normally don't get to see the end of the stress test. You got to see one the other night when I had it on the floor doing the stress test. But yeah, you can be sure that I do it for every single one just to make sure. Some of them I know are going to pass just from just seeing the early numbers. Here we go. Sweet as. Okay. So it looks like we are all up to date. Oh, looks like we're missing some apps here. Oh, some of them went into the wrong folder, that's why. There we go. So here it is, our i7-10700KF, our cache, motherboard, memory, graphics card, our 3070 Ti. And see here we have the code name. So this is the actual GPU. So 3060 Ti, 3070 and 3070 Ti are called GA104. 3080, 3080 Ti and 3090 is called GA102. And 3060 non-Ti is a totally different one called GA106. There we go. And go to submit and compare. So where does a 10700KF sit? So right up the top. Performance, the gaming. Let's compare it to 8-core 16-thread CPUs. And we can see sitting there, it'll normally sit around there. I was obviously doing something, I saw it drop down a couple of hundred all at once, so obviously a background process started, so we would be sitting like up here. So still some better numbers there from other CPUs at multi-thread, but when it comes to gaming, right up the top. So good choice. Alright, let's do some game. Oh, I don't think I have set up MSI Afterburner. Okay, so now let's run some benchmarks. This is heaven just out of the box here. So if you haven't seen this before, this number below RAM here is the current frames per second that it's running at. Alrighty. So that was heaven there at the out of the box settings. So we can do Valley now. We run that on max. So ultra with maximum anti-aliasing. You think of anti-aliasing as like line smoothing, if you're unfamiliar. Oh. I don't know about you, I'm getting tired. So that was Valley there on maximum settings. The last one is our 4K benchmark. Alrighty, how we going? Oh, nearly done. Alright, so we're pretty much onto our stress test now. Final scene. Alrighty. Okay, so we're at the end of the night now. So this is our stress test. So we've got the CPU working hard, we've got the graphics card working hard, and we're just going to let it run for the next 90 minutes. This is where I normally leave it for the end of the stream because it gets a bit boring from this stage. So I'll just wait just a second to see if anyone has any final questions or comments before I go. I'm tired. Nah, it's looking pretty good. There's no reason why it's not going to pass. Alright. Well, I think everyone's had enough for tonight, so let me just get the screen back. Alright everyone, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.